Hey Mung Beans. I'm Joey.
I'm Ashley.
And this is Wine Time Mysteries.
If you're into true crime,
And if the paranormal gets your nips hard,
then this is for you. But before we get started,
make sure to follow us on Spotify and stalk us on Insta and TikTok.
or send your inquiries to winetimemysteries@gmail.com, and we promise to at least try to get back to you.
Lego!
I just want to mention something really funny. Well, for the listeners.
Oh.
Yeah, not for you.
Here I am. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
yeah? And you're like,
No.
no, bitch, shut the fuck up. I'm like, oh, wow.
I was on my way super early this morning getting Joey a coffee from Taste My Bean, because that's my favourite coffee place. Thank you.
They're so good.
They're so good. And I sent Joey a little drive-through video, and then he's like, oh, that noise, it sounds very familiar. I was like, oh, yeah. What was it, Joey? What did it remind you of?
Turtles fucking.
Yeah. I wanted to do again the noise of it. He showed me a video. If you haven't seen a video of it, you need to do it.
You need to look up turtle
So I
sex.
was
It's
going,
funny.
what was I saying? I was like, oh, was it this one? No. What was it again? One moment, please.
It was the...
Just snorted and then we listened to Turtles That's
something.
my sex voice. You're welcome.
You should do that in bed later.
I do. That's what I just said. It's I have a little something different this time around for you today, Del.
Different?
Yeah. It's about a man named John.
You better be kidding.
No, I'm totally joking.
Oh my
It's
god.
not.
I was like, the last 3 you did was John. If you do another John, you bitch.
No, do you want to know what it's about?
Murder.
Murder. No, it's a Jane Doe case in Australia. I thought that might tickle your pickle, Dal.
Oh, that more than tickle my pickle. It also tickled my anus.
Oh, your anus. You want me to get into it?
My
Not your anus. The timing. She doesn't allow visitors, thank you.
She's closed for business. She goes, no.
All right, enough about your anus, Dal.
Why?
It's off to a good start. We're doing great. New Year's Day, right? 1991. A cyclist was being all new year, new me, and was cycling through. I'm not sorry. Anyway, he was cycling through Arncliffe, New South Wales. He was riding through an industrial-looking area when he saw a large object on the grass
Was it me?
beside the road.
Sorry.
I love you. I love that wheeze. Oh, it's no gay rolls up in here.
No, not today, thank fuck. Oh, well, I mean.
No. Upon... Okay, murder. Upon closer inspection, he would find the body of a woman, wrapped up in plastic rubbish bags. She was in the early stages of decomp. Her legs had been bent with her feet under her behind. Like, yeah, you can picture that. Gross. She had blood over her face, a deep, dark ligature mark on her throat. Mummification had begun in her right hand, and she had something in her mouth. Her body had been wrapped up and clearly dumped. She had not been murdered here, but moved here afterwards. There was no ID on the body, however, she appeared to be in her mid-20s. She was dressed in a white bodysuit, along with checkered black and white shorts. She had a gold wedding ring on her right hand and a watch. No track marks, no tattoos, and nothing found around the scene to help identify her. Crazy. Police mentioned there was lots of newspaper at the scene. Remember how I said there was something in her mouth?
I feel like I'm too mature for these kind of conversations.
I was waiting for it. I'm like, no, but she's murdered. Well, there was 2 full-size sheets of newspaper that had been shoved down her throat. The paper was from December 10th, 1991. Oh, did I mention the name of the street she was found on?
I don't think so.
Guess Avenue. Yeah. Weird.
No, I'm so dumb. I was like, how am I going to guess?
No, the name Guess Avenue. Creepy, right? It would later be confirmed that she died by suffocation and ligature strangulation. Look at me pronouncing big words today. Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, girl, go girl, get it,
Get
girl.
it. You use those words, girl. They were unsure which one killed her first, however. Whether it was the newspaper from, suffocation from the newspaper or strangulation. The newspaper that was found in her throat was the size of a man's fist. And super crazy, police would find 3 bloody fingerprint patterns on the inside of the paper. Could this case be over before it even started? No.
No?
No. Animal hairs were found on her clothes, with an expert stating the hairs came from a German Shepherd dog. Now it's time to find out who Jane Doe was. Dun dun. Oh, that was a deep one.
You did.
I did it.
Loved it.
Can I just say as well, I haven't seen Joey for like a week, so that's why we're very like and making
Yeah,
jokes.
we're
It's not
crazy.
about murder.
We
It's-
haven't even talked a lot this week either.
No. So this is all in the early 90s, right? And I found this weird. I'm going to have to show you photos later because it's just like, And I might post some of them maybe on the Insta when it's time. But obviously the police needed help from the public to identify this woman. They went to incredible lengths. A police officer that was around the same build would dress in the same clothing and walk around, hoping to spark someone's memory. They even dressed up a mannequin with the same clothing and like literally had it out on display. Like that's just weird. People don't do that now, Technology. At the time the body was found, there was also a carnival on. So they thought, was the killer from there? Was the victim from there? Who knows, They asked questions, spoke to employees, nothing came of this. Now this kind of freaked me out a little bit, this part, but apparently I'm a little bitch now, seeing as though I can't stand Joey's cases,
My tales.
Yeah, your tales.
My, how the tables have turned.
So police wanted to get a more realistic photo, right? Do you know where this is going?
I don't want to.
Yeah. Now, because of the stage of decomp she was in, they had to remove all the insect infestation on her fucking face. They then had to guess what colour eyes and how they would look because they were fucking infested with blowflies. Her eyeballs. Maybe there was no eyeballs. I don't know. Like, no thank you, but the time that I actually learnt of the body's stages of decomp, which I must admit was only recently because it used to just freak me out, dead bodies. Could look at photos, but I don't know, something about how your body decomps, it's just, that's my, no thank you, you're welcome, that's all. So yeah, they took these photos, right, and they tried different brunette hairstyle cuts, anything that aligned with her face. If you want to see, there's a true crime doco called Forensic Investigators, and man, the technology back then, just ridiculous. Like, it's a printed version of snipping out eyes from a magazine or something like that. Like,
It's
literally.
a composite. Yeah.
But the imaging of it was just... That was the eyes, not the doodle. Yeah. Yeah, it literally looked like it had been done in Word. It was weird. The photo was gross because her mouth was open, like that. And they'd like edited teeth maybe or made them a bit wider. I don't know. I'm going to show you later. It's really gross knowing that that's a dead body that they've tried to...
I'm okay. I don't need to see that.
No, you do.
No.
Because it was printed in the newspapers and that. It was gross. So they didn't get any hits with this either. Now, around the same time, they went through files of missing girls, see if there was anything around the same description, but couldn't get any hits. It was mentioned, though, that because they were sifting through, like, older files, they were able to find some of the missing people. So a bit of a positive, at least. So this will make you laugh because magazines could print in colour, but obviously newspapers weren't in colour back then. They decided to put out an article to frickin' New Idea. You know the magazine New Idea? I know. It was like this, 4-page spread or something of like the clothing. They were actually able to put coloured imagery of everything they'd used, try and hope some Karen is at home reading her magazine going, I'm going to solve this murder, or, living her best life. From this, though, they did get a hit. Yeah. Look at you. New idea. Is it new idea? Yeah, not Women's Weekly. No. A call from a girl who claimed to know her came through, looked at the items that were listed in the thing, and she was just sure it was her friend. She was a dancer, and I'm sorry, but she worked at a place called Porky's.
Was she fat?
No. But, that's the name of the strip club, Porky's. I'm going to go down to Porky's and go check out some of the girls.
Check out some of the Sheilas.
Can I just say as well, this is totally off topic, but not. In this doco, they did an interview with a guy that must have been, a regular at Porky's. He's like, oh, yeah, she was a good sort, she was just a good sort. And I was just like, oh, this creepy old man, why are you interviewing him?
Also, because we know he didn't get to know her.
Yeah, disgusting.
Yuck.
So she worked at Porky's, rented a place in King's Cross, and police would find out she was 22-year-old Vivian Ruiz. Dental records. I can say good words, but records?
Records.
The records. Dental records. I can't... What? Dental records. There we go.
All right, now let's try saying it like a human.
Dental records would confirm it was her, and she was positively identified. Yeah, claps all around. Woo, woo, woo. I got through the sentence. Vivian had plans to travel the world. She was also working as a prostitute at the time to earn a bit of extra money. You do you, honey boo boo. Whatever, whatever you want. But they did mention she was ambitious. Apparently being a stripper and a prostitute doesn't mean, means you're not ambitious, apparently. That's me being sarcastic, FYI. FYI. But she was just being smart, doing the work that earns the most money, not much experience needed, and then she could travel, get out. Now, it was noted that Vivian told her friends that she would be traveling overseas with her boyfriend for around 7 to 12 months. Times when you could travel further than a bubble.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much for that.
I tried to hold it too. I was like, pardon me, I apologise for my rude behaviour, and I'm just going to sit here and shut the fuck up now.
Her boyfriend would be identified as Richard White. He was a roid head. Yes, I can say that because he did steroids.
I was going to say, was he white as well?
Yeah, he was white as well. Wait till you see a photo of him. He is like your typical blonde hair, preppy looking. That's me doing, I'm a tough guy, blah, blah, blah.
Does he have muscles?
Yes, he does. Well, from the steroids.
He's a roid head, yeah.
Yeah. Does he have muscle? His other talents included doing speed, dealing drugs, and woman bashing. He's just the triple threat. Oh, yeah. He's a great guy. He also liked just bashing people in general, as it was stated he didn't muck around and was always up for a fight, old dicky boy, and wouldn't mind the old punch up between one another as well. So it would say that they would get physical from time to time. It was just not a good relationship. Why would you want to travel with him? Don't know. Also want to mention that he loved the idea and got off on the fact that she was a prostitute. Yeah, it was like his little kink kind of thing. He got off on the fact that...
other people are sexing you and after that...
Yeah. Look, not kink shaming, but when you're a piece of shit, as you'll find out later on, we're going to shame you all we want, If you get off on that, that's fine. If you're a dick.
I'm going to kink shame the fuck out of anyone I want. I don't care.
I'm going to do what I want. Now, did I mention how long it took police to identify Vivian as well? I don't think I mentioned that earlier. It took them 4 months to identify who she was. So you're telling me you don't call police when you haven't heard from your partner in 4 months? maybe. So we're going to get into the investigation side of it all now. So around this time, she was meant to travel with Dick, you know, being Christmas and all. So the police are like, where's old mate? Let's see what we can find out. Well, old Dickie boy cancelled both flights on the 27th of December. Even though they had paid for their own tickets separately, he had it refunded and the check sent to his parents' house. What, you say? On this day as well, he visited his bank and deposited a large wad of cash.
Not a wad.
A wad. $4,000 to be exact. Funnily enough, Vivian kept all her money in a shoebox because she didn't trust banks. What you doing, Dickie? Where you get that money from? Oh, Dickie boy. Police now did a search for him in the database, and it came up that he had an assault matter and a drink driving charge. So I don't know if you remember, but they originally ran the fingerprints through the database and got no hits.
The 3?
Yeah. Now, everything I've told you about Dick, it seems like he's the guy, right? Nowhere to be found, cashed all this money, cancelled her ticket. What you doing, boy? So police spoke to the technicians looking through the fingerprints just to ensure it was captured or ran through correctly. Like, everything is pointing to him. It just seems off. The print should have fit. So they go back to the drawing board to try and suss it out. Now, the good thing was they didn't release information to the public that they knew who Jane Doe was. They didn't want the killer knowing or destroying any evidence until they knew where he was.
Story
or
checks
they
out.
were,
Yeah.
you know, they were smart. So digging through information, they found and went to Richard's parents' house. Once again, the cops were on the ball with this because they sent a traffic cop around to say it was about a traffic accident or incident. You know, don't want to tip him off because they don't know if he's there or if his parents know. Don't want to alarm anyone. They advised the officers that he left the country on the 2nd of January and went to Bangkok.
Oh.
You're welcome. Now, one thing the traffic cop did mention was that the family had a German Shepherd. Oh, look at all these pieces just falling into place.
Gasp.
They also found out that Dick had a van, which he had sold as well, just before leaving. Turns out the new owner had never cleaned it or washed it as well, which is really disgusting, but works out.
I was going to say,
To be
but
good.
helpful.
Super helpful for the cops. Wait till you see the inside of the van, though. Like, you'd be like, why didn't you clean that? There were some marks on the carpet, because it was one of those vans that had, like, a carpeted, it's the 90s, whatevs. They noticed that, like, thinners or some kind of chemical was used over the top of what obviously looked like blood. Thinking he was smart in covering it up. Well, they found blood on the gearbox as well as some blood under the carpet of the van. And the van had German Shepherd hairs in it too. Oh. So it's all screaming yes, but why no match with the fingerprints? Now, guess what these smart cookies did? They asked for the fingerprint to be reversed, doing a negative image of the fingerprint. It matched. Now, what they were actually looking at, and I don't know what it's called, but it was like the valleys, so the grooves in between the lines of the fingerprint. Yeah, so they assumed he had blood on his hand, grabbed the paper, pushed it in her mouth, causing the valleys to show up with the movement instead of his actual fingerprint. Gotcha, motherfucker. So I found very interesting because I was like, I can't even see the little... So this little section I've called Finding Dick.
How?
Well, we don't know where he is. We got to find the little Dickie boy. Now, they did a search and found Dick had purchased his tickets on the 31st of December, New Year's Eve. Now, this was after Vivian was found. So he went to Bangkok, to the Philippines, and then to England because, you know, he's super smart and used his docs to travel. I mean, good for the police because at least they can track you now. They tracked down pretty much his exact location due to reverse charges. You know, that old thing back in the day? Yeah. For people who don't know, you used to be able to go to payphones, type in, was it like 1-800 reverse or something like that. And
To charge the call to whoever you're calling?
yeah, because I was like, in case some little young'uns are listening, they might know. What's a telephone? You
No,
know?
what's a payphone?
Payphone, yeah. I was like, what's a telephone?
What's a telephone, she says, holding up her...
You shut up. So he'd been reverse charging his parents because he's such a nice guy. And they found an address in Newcastle, which was actually an uncle's address. So they got help from the police over there who found the address, but obviously didn't want to scare him off without knowing it was him. So yeah, they didn't want to scare him off. They asked around town, showing a picture of him, to which a barmaid was like, he's Australian, isn't he? So they've got the right address. So Detective Sergeant Les Bowen was like, okay, everything seems like he's here. Let's call him up and ask if he's there. Like just as a little call. So they call up asking, are there any little dicks in the house? And the guy who answered was like, I'm a little dick. No, not really, but it was Richard. So they stormed the house and arrested him. There is a picture of the detective coming out of the house and he's just smiling. Like he was so trilled, he was. He was trilled. Of course, Dick was all acting surprised, like, what? She died? What happened? And was like acting all shocked and shit. Probably was shocked they found him and, were able to pin him for it. Now, they have the fingerprint and heaps of evidence, but of course this one was going to be a bit different as they had to be able to prove he did murder Ruiz so that he could be extradited and charged, sent back to Australia. Obviously, they went straight to the parents' house to see if her body was ever stored there, maybe murdered there, who knows. Now, they did all of this before Dick could make a phone call. Obviously, don't want to risk anything being tampered with or who knows. Like, you don't know if the parents are in on it yet. Now, it was quoted that the parents were actually super lovely and decent. Yeah. Of course, they questioned why police were there, and the officer said it was in relation to the murder of his girlfriend, and apparently the parents just broke down crying. So yeah, he did work alone. So while all this is going on, Dick Boy in London was in a cell and wrote out a little list for himself. So this list had things like, don't talk to the police, don't be tricked by the police, don't fuck up. You've already fucked up by writing a list, you idiot. Now, the luggage he had on him, he was unable to get access to any of it, obviously because he's in jail and they're going to look for evidence. So, boo-hoo, he had nothing he could change into. Oh, I got to wear the same clothes for a few days. Me. Now, going through his belongings, they found a cord that was knotted at both ends. Remember, she had the mark on her neck. So they're bagging up all this evidence to send over and help build the case for the Australian detectives, just working together. Now, in Dick's parents' house, there was an area in like the basement that was like his little workshop, The German Shepherd walked through at that time and of course they took samples of it. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to take samples of this really cute dog by giving it all the pats and kisses. He looks like such a good boy. Now, another interesting thing they found was that there was a bit of sand on Vivian's bodysuit, along with the dog hair. Now, funnily enough, there was a sandy area in the basement that they took samples of, assuming maybe this is where the body was stored. Because remember earlier I said there was a bit of mummification on her hands, suggesting it was stored somewhere. Now, in the same area, they found boxes containing her items. Now, that wouldn't be weird, but this motherfucker was claiming that Ruiz and him had actually broken up and that she travelled without him, and he made a point of telling a friend, thinking he was being all smart, getting an alibi, like, oh, we broke up, blah, blah, blah. So why you got all her things if you broken up, bro? Why you got her stuff?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. Now, Australian officers went over to the watch house in England and searched the things he had on him, which would later bite him in the ass.
Oh, I love a good ass bite.
Oh, yeah. So, as I said before, he had heaps of notes addressed to himself, what to say and what to cover, One note was named as "Do this now," and the first dot point was "Convince yourself of your innocence." He wrote all of this shit down. Like, you are so dumb. So dumb.
What did he think he was going to achieve by writing this stuff down?
Oh no, just you wait. It's so dumb.
My mind is melting.
Yeah. Another dot point was keep answers short and to the point. Like, you're just showing you're guilty, you idiot. Another one was contact business associates and friends to convince them. And then he even had like a little mock interview with himself, and some of the points were like, why did you hit her? I'll post photos of it. Like, it's just so stupid. He wrote all this down. Like, can you not think about it in your head instead of creating extra evidence against you, you dumb fuck?
Right.
So just trying to figure out what he was going to do. Now, Dick had a conversation with a detective on the flight home. He mentioned that he had to fight this. He then went on to say he only found out on Xmas Eve that she was a prostitute. Like, bullshit, you get off on it, you idiot. And saying he just thought she was a dancer. And this is what he said. She told me she couldn't come to my parents' place. We had a fight. I felt so stupid. It's not as bad as they're saying. Like, do you not see how you're contradicting yourself? And you fucking killed someone. What do you mean it's not as bad as they're saying? They've got a body.
And you said, why'd I hit her?
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
Steroids. Now, 14th of September 1992, he lands back in Australia. Made me so angry, but I saw this video of him and his stupid, smug little face, going in to the court. Piece of shit. The defense tried to come up with this excuse that the main source of evidence, being the fingerprints, saying it was the whole wrong place, wrong time, his fingerprint being there, and that he was a victim of circumstance. Oh, yeah. Just you wait. Just you wait.
The dog hair, the bloody van, the hair in the fucking van.
And the money.
The money.
Cancelling the
her
tickets.
Stuff in his house.
Yeah.
Get fucked.
You're going to get real mad. They tried to claim he was eating a meat pie and had sauce on his finger and wiped it off with the newspaper. Like, are you that fucking stupid? Your face. I wish everyone could see Joey's face right now. But also, how Aussie is that? Oh, he's just eating a meat pie and just got, some sauce on his fingers. And also, you're a roid head and a dealer. I don't think you're sitting down, reading the paper, having a meat pie. Now, they were able to prove them wrong about this whole meat pie thing.
It wasn't tomato sauce.
You what?
Gasp.
They said to them, if that was the case, then he's reading the paper upside down due to the placement of his fingerprints.
You fucking idiots.
Yeah, like, you're going to go with that now? Okay, cool. So after 4 years, on Friday the 12th of July, 1996, Richard White was charged with the murder of Vivian Ruiz. Now, sadly, they don't know why he did it, assuming it was an argument that got out of hand, or maybe it was from him being on steroids. You know, the old roid rage. Now, this motherfucker was only charged 15 years with a minimum of 10. So max charge means he would have gotten out in 2011. This motherfucker is walking free. Couldn't find anything on him, but kind of didn't want to. Little noble bitch. So yeah, that's one way to end it, really angrily, because he's out. And that's my Jane Doe story, or the brutal murder of Vivian Ruiz.
I doesn't like that.
Yeah, I know, it's very frustrating.
Thank you, but also no thank you.
So yeah, you're welcome. Something different this time. Wasn't a John, it was a
Jane
Doe.
I enjoyed that, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Love you.
Love you, see you on the flip.
Love you, bye.
Whoa.